Hello everybody, my name is Scott Kirby and I'm the founder of Musicians Alliance for Progress. And we have a simple goal, and that's to try to bring a utilitarian nature, more winners and less losers to the music industry. In the mid-20th century, there was a man named Rudyard Kipling who said, "I keep 6 honest serving men who taught me all I knew. Their names were what and why and when and how and where and who." And what he was trying to say is that people make open-ended declarations, statements, and they never get to the bottom of anything. So M.AP.'s goal is simple. Our goal here at Musicians Alliance for Progress is simple. All we want to do is have the people that do the most valuable work make the largest amount of money. Chester Bennington is kind of our poster child. He was the former lead singer of Linkin Park. And Chester said the ultimate statement, open-ended again, that's why we talk about Rudyard Kipling, but Chester said, artists make so much money for so many people who have nothing at all to do with the creative process. And hereby brings us to our example of exactly what Chester might have been referring to. We're going to talk about 2 artists and how big their camp was and how important they were compared to their labels. We're going to talk about Elvis Presley, okay? Elvis's team comprised basically himself, then his founder at Sun Records, not RCA but Sun, Sam Phillips, Lieber and Stoller, the 2 main songwriters, and maybe a handful of other songwriters. Probably less than 10 people comprised his core. And then on the other side, you had RCA and their bloated, wailing mass of humanity who were on the other side. In the Beatles, you had John, Paul, George, Ringo, and generally Jeff Emerick, the engineer, but most importantly, George Martin, their producer. The point I'm trying to make is that it would be very, very easy if the Beatles left Capitol to find another label to do what Capitol does, even though they had 1,000 people and the Beatles were less than 10. The same case applies to Elvis Presley. If you took RCA away, Elvis Presley could easily find another label to substitute and sell just as many records. Today, the music business is behind the times in technology. There's too many people making too much money, basically performing rudimentary and non-creative jobs and depriving groups of adequate compensation. Okay? So what Musicians Alliance Progress wants to do is be a gathering place for artists and business people with a human and altruistic approach, meaning they want the greatest good for the largest amount of people. Again, there's that saying again. If, let's say, a good way to proceed in this, if artists own 51% of the #1 streaming service, that would be Spotify, it would control their own destiny. They could see how much money came in to Spotify, and they could have transparency. This is a disaster because they don't have this now. In other words, I think artists should have a major stake in their streaming service so they had transparency and clarity on what was going on in the streaming service. Because right now they all feel like they're getting ripped off. 2 other gentlemen I want to talk about. One of them's name is Roger McNamee. He's a partner of Bono and U2 in Elevation Partners. And the other is a great author that's in the film Kill Switch. His name is Steve Knopper. And both of these men suggested that the first social network was actually Napster. Not Twitter, not Facebook, not Instagram. And what we would like to propose is that people would go into this new music-based social network, put in a playlist, write in songs they like, write in artists they like, and the technology would immediately align the 2 components. So you could now be so-called promoted by people who had your own taste in music. There are a lot of people right now that are upset in the music industry, and what M.AP, Musicians Alliance of Progress, is trying to get these people together. These are people like Imogen Heap, who has her own artist affiliation network trying to improve the industry. Jared Leto, the actor artist from 30 Seconds from Mars. Steven Tyler of Aerosmith. Moby has been very outspoken against the improprieties of the music industry. Taylor Swift and Don Henley, to name a few. So I'm Scott Kirby. I want you to sign up for M.AP. Sign up on our YouTube channel, because what we want is a utilitarian music industry, one that derives the greatest amount of good for musicians and fans for the largest amount of people. Thanks for watching, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for our upcoming episodes.